at least we would have some. Okay, during our chat on Monday with Ada, we had agreed that at least a representative from PHCT would attend this meeting. But again, they were all out of the office, they were on site. So the update is that we've been given a link, and Ben will be available from next week. I have just pasted the link on the chat. That describes how household information is handled through mobile form entry. So Ada and the rest, you could look at that, the link that I've just pasted. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Avel, it would be helpful if you can help us to find out which household module version that they use actually. That would be really helpful because we're still unsure which version they use.
Basically, for them, they were using the oldest household module, that is 1.0, because basically there's no much being, whatever they were to create in that household was like the PHC10 count or something. As for now, it doesn't do much. It's just that item, you create that item, then it moves on. So there's not much they are using from the household module. Most of the things happens within the mobile form entry module.
Okay. I can. So that would be helpful. Thank you. So Sarah has a comment.
Sorry, I can speak in the microphone. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Sarah.
Okay. Sorry, I just clicked on the child page from the link that Alfio just sent to us, and one of the first sentences says that just lists the household survey as version 1.008. I didn't know if that was helpful information, but I wanted to provide it just in case.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. I think if that is what is there, I think that was before we upgraded to 3.6. I think the current version of the file that is the household survey form that the one that is there was before we moved on to the next version, but we can go ahead and correct that. Is that
Yeah, I think those pages a little bit outdated. It'll be helpful to put the more up-to-date information.
Okay, I will take on that task because I've been working with PHCT. I'll just look at what I have and find out what is the missing information and add it there. So that will be my to-do.
And also, it'll be helpful to include the estimated timeline when some of the PHCT data will be put into MRS for each site. I think that would be also helpful information.
Yeah, mostly this information is already coming in, unless basically we fixed the module some time back and we processed data from Turbo, Teso, and a number of sites. This was from what had been given to us. So I think Mosoriot was also included, maybe Teso, Mosoriot, and Turbo. And I think this During our Monday meeting, Ben was to actually process more data into MRS. So far, data has been coming in.
Okay, thanks.
Any additional questions?
I don't have any more comments on this topic unless other members have.
Seems silent would mean there are no more comments. I would go on to the next item was the priorities that we have as developers. One of the, basically I added this because I added this topic because Boniface had requested that at every dev call, we'll go through the list of the tickets that are assigned to me and those assigned to Wheeler so that we give an update. He's not yet here. I don't know whether he's joined the meeting over on maybe from any other side. Boniface, are you on?
Yeah, I'm here.
I didn't see you coming. Okay, thank you. I didn't see him. He was just behind me. Anyway, Boniface is here, so I'll go through.
It's good we did not say any bad thing about both of us.
Okay, Bonnie. So I updated, I downloaded the spreadsheet and I was trying to update it. So the first, we'll go through the tickets.
Yeah, before we go through the tickets, well, I just wanted to know from you and Willa whether this is something worth doing, because since it's going to affect your team, I mean, we need to see whether this is a format that you would like or you have other ways that you want to do your stuff. So it was a proposal to you guys just to see if find ways of giving frequent updates. But if you have other methods that you prefer, we're happy to follow. So before we can even engage in looking at it, I would like to hear from Wheeler and Alfio, basically.
For me, I think it's a good idea because this one would help us track basically what you're handling. And sometimes when you finish a ticket, maybe you close it and you can't remember you worked on it.
Wheeler is asking whether we hear him. No, we can't hear him.
Wheeler, we cannot hear you.
I'll go ahead to move to the next agenda item.
Okay, yeah, just a moment. I was just wanted to confirm Bonnie was mentioning that we had one more agenda item that I didn't see. So I'm just give me a few 1 or 2 minutes. I want to open the week page.
You mean the HR7 problem? So the agenda items are reviewed last week to do CT initial form.
Okay, thank you. I've seen that. Okay, so the last item is the HL7 problem. So do we go to the HL7 problems or do we proceed with the developers' priorities? Maybe Willa could put a comment down there so that we know whether we are moving to the next agenda or we are discussing the priorities as we wait for him to repair his mic. Okay, we'll go through the tickets. The first ticket was unable to save EID HR7 data after upgrade. Ticket number PCSM mod 21. The current status is that we fixed that and the ticket is closed. The module has been tested in the test server and it works fine. So we're just waiting for Augustine to maybe finish his review and upload it to production. Any questions on that? Or I go through all the tickets and then we ask questions later. I don't know how you guys prefer, what you prefer.
No, no one is talking, Willa.
Sorry, I was on mute. I think I was, I was on mute. Thanks, Eda. Okay, sorry for that.
So which agenda item you guys are talking about now?
We are talking about the developer priorities. We have a file that Boniface sent that I'm going through. I don't know whether the rest of you have it, but I think Willa would be having it. So there is an Excel sheet
Yeah.
that Boniface provided, listing the tickets that are that are being worked on by developers. So I was going through the tickets that are there. I think one of the questions that Boniface had was that was his proposed way of handling, maybe making sure that the tickets are when we are as developers, we have the tickets in one place where we can as well give the updates. So I think his first question was, is this a way we would, as developers, we would prefer to work with going forward? And my answer to him is, I think it's okay, so that at least when you have one document, as we update the tickets, probably we would just add the last comment, the last update on the ticket would be in this document, other than maybe having every update that is on the ticket also updating on this document. So maybe the last status will be on this document, and then any other comments will be left on the ticket. Okay, that's what I thought. Maybe Boniface.
So Willa, do you like that suggestion?
Well, it's helpful when the wiki and Jira are down to have a way to communicate the tasks. It seems like unnecessary additional work to try to maintain a spreadsheet of information that should be available in Jira. And if we need to make a subset of tickets, it's pretty easy to do that in a wiki page.
So can we agree that to move the updates on the wiki page just to say that, hey, the developer team's priority right now are 1, 2, 3, 4, and then these are the relevant tickets. That's it. So just so everything is going to be on one central place, and it would be the developers team's responsibility to update that wiki page. Would that be appropriate?
Okay, that's it. I hope maybe, I don't know whether there's also a way we can maybe write a filter or something, create a filter through the, I haven't tried that through the Jira, that would maybe filter out those and then provide a link to the wiki page that gets this information. I'm not so sure. Maybe we'll look at that in addition to creating a wiki page to list out or provide the updates on the tickets.
Yeah, I think if you want to have a manual list of tickets to say, here's our priorities in order, an easy way to do that, just as Boniface did in the spreadsheet, is to list those in a wiki page. And it has the advantage that you can make direct links to the tickets. The name of the ticket goes right in place. The status of the ticket updates on the page whenever the ticket's updated. You can click through directly to the ticket, so you're not maintaining information in multiple places. And it's easy to print that page. If someone wanted to email it out, they can print it as a PDF, download it as a PDF or a Word document, and send it out. I just worry that using a document or like in a spreadsheet that we're passing around will be difficult to know where is the truth, and it means a lot of extra effort updating, keeping an Excel spreadsheet up to date with information that's already ideally being updated in Jira.
Thank you so much. I think I'll rest my case. The purpose was actually to make sure that we are able to share the information on the status of what we are working on. But basically, given that the wiki is available to do that, I'm hoping we'll also add Martin and the rest of the guys who want to frequently review what developers are doing so that they're able to get the updates from the wiki.
Yeah, I mean, the emailing a document is helpful when the internet is down, but when the internet is working, it has also the advantage that anybody can watch that page and see any updates as they are made. I thought we had a page that we started to try and summarize developer priorities.
Yeah, I think, Bert, if I recall correctly, there are multiple pages for similar purpose. I think it would be best to consolidate those pages into one, or remove the other or something like that, so everyone can point to the correct one. It will be good to know which page that the dev team decide to use, and then we can stick with that page.
Okay, and I will do that. I've seen one I've pasted there. Maybe we will. We will find other tickets, other pages that have. I remember we had that. We used to have the subtasks listed there, and we would update those when we've done the work. So I think there was one that, other than whatever I've pasted there, there was another quick page that we used to. Okay, we've tried to refresh the one that I've pasted. I think it doesn't automatically update the tickets, so maybe we'll look at that and see whether there is any other pages that would automatically pull the tickets that are related to developers. So I think maybe then we will not.
Actually, Alfayo.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we are discussing two different things here. The first one is about how we are communicating the tickets and their status, which we already did have this discussion before, and the agreement was to have the wiki page, actually, like Buck said. So we have the wiki page, you have developers tickets there, you see and at some point also we had Reagan creating the status, weekly status, and circulating it among different team leaders and the PIs. So that is one thing, and that is the agreement was to have the page, and also there was a document. So basically those two things were going on, and at some point it seemed like the document was very helpful. Now the other thing we're talking about here is developer priorities. This is tricky somehow, because the thing is, in most cases we don't control these priorities as a developer team. So what happens is sometimes we're given priorities, and at some point where the management sit and the management sits and see that, okay, I think they have changes in priorities due to different circumstances and the requirements of the programs, then they create a different document saying that, you know, from now on the developer priorities are these. So I'm not really sure what we are discussing here. Are we discussing about how we are updating the management about the status of the tickets, or how we are managing the priorities? Because these are two different things. Yeah. So basically, that's I guess if you want to discuss developer priorities, these are the things that we don't have the full control of. Sometimes we get documents stating different priorities, and after some time we get a different document stating new priorities, and we don't have control of that.
Yeah, the spreadsheet.
Clear? Yeah.
The spreadsheet that Boniface had sent out was development priorities, as communicated, I think, through Martin. So my assumption was we were talking about developer priorities, which it would be beneficial if we documented those on a wiki page. So not only would we be able to communicate amongst each other, here's the priorities, but also anyone watching developers would also understand those are our priorities. And it would also keep a history, as you're exactly right. Leadership may change their priorities frequently, and if we have them documented, we can also show on the wiki through the history, we can say, look at what you're doing to us. On this date, you changed it to this priority, a week later to this, a week later to this, and we actually have documentation of how the priorities have changed.
Okay, great. Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, I think that's okay. I think this was being done basically to ensure that at least Martin knows what is happening, and I think having that wiki page and we add him as a watcher, I think it would be well. In addition to that, I think I haven't seen what Regan was sending out as a summary. Maybe if Willa can share it with us, so that in case we think we need to continue sending it out, then we could do that.
The summary of what?
You said Willa used to create a summary of the task on a weekly, and Regan used to create a summary and would send it out to PIs. I think I heard you saying that. I haven't seen that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would be if that's being done, it's something that would be nice to be copying to the Ampath Dev list, so that everyone understands and sees that transparency.
Yeah, well, basically, yeah. I think what Regan used to do is he used to create a document for the PIs, and basically it just contained the tasks that have been completed for the particular week. So he used to, it's like a consolidation of what the developer team has been doing for the whole week for every developer in the team. That's what he used to send, and he did that for, I think, 2 or 3 times, and then somehow things got complicated and we shifted the things to the wiki, and if we kept on doing that, then I didn't have any knowledge of it. But yeah, I can dig that document and share it with the other guys if they want. But as far as this agenda is concerned, I think the important thing right now is to, because the decision is to have that wiki page. The pages are there. If you search for the developer priority, you'll see multiple pages like what Ada said. So basically, we need to have a centralized management of the things so that we can have the history and we know where you can go and see the developer priorities, because we have different, the thing is we have different variation of the words. Sometimes you see it as developer priorities, sometimes it's developer tasks, sometimes. So we have these multiple pages. We need to consolidate this into one and have them in one place so that everybody can see what we are doing or what we are supposed to be doing.
Just to follow up on what you've said, and I mean, we are shelving whatever I proposed. We are not engaging into that. We just want to know how soon will that be done so that the people concerned, we can even redirect them to the pages that, or they can be added as watchers just to be able to, on a frequent basis, just see how the tickets are faring on. That would be easy for everyone, I think.
Yeah, that's why, Bonnie. That's why I think I just discussed about this. There are two things here. There is something. The one thing is about reporting about the status of the tickets. This is one thing. The other is about how we are managing the developer priorities. They are related, but they are completely different. They are different things. So if we need to have the way of showing what are the status of the tickets, yeah, one way is going to Jira directly. It's tedious because you see individual tickets, you don't see the big picture, and most people who are in the management level, they'll like to have a single place where they can go and see, okay, we have 5 tickets, 4 of them are in progress, 1 is closed, and something like that. Now that is something that can be done on the wiki as well. You have the page, you have the developers. Actually, there is a page that have developers, and each individual developers has the tickets, show the tickets for every individual developer and their statuses. So we can have that, and we have that. What we need to do is maybe updating that and see if it is reflecting what we have on Jira. The other thing you're talking about is about priorities. This is kind of, to some extent, it's a conceptual document of what the developer should be working on. And this is something that keeps changing. Like I said, it keeps changing depending on the circumstance on the ground and the team's or the project requirements. So we can have a wiki page to manage that, and knowing, for example, right now, yeah, Martin knows what we're supposed to be doing as developers. I know what we're supposed to be doing as developers, but there's no place where we can tell somebody, okay, you can open this link and see what the developer is supposed to be doing, is supposed to be working on. What are the developer priorities? Now, this is something different, and you can create a page. I can work on creating a page on that, and I think this is the page that should need, what would be getting the, from Martin, from the leadership.
Yeah, I don't think we need an additional page. That was what the developer priorities page was created to represent. It just hasn't been updated. So I think just taking the developer priorities page, the one that has that name, updating it with the information that Boniface sent out, which is just basically saying, here in order, these are the tickets, and within the wiki you can use a Jira macro to actually put the ticket in there, so that it links directly to the ticket. And so just getting that page updated. If there's other pages that have come along that are confusing or might confuse people as competing for developer priorities, then we need to either delete those pages or rename them or restructure them so that they're not confusing. And the list of tickets you're referring to, Willa, is a page that was supposed to try to give a dashboard of activity, and those lists of Jira tickets are not manually created. They're generated from queries to Jira to say, show in this section of the page, show all the tickets that are assigned to this developer. So that's ticket for ticket.
Yeah, I think we are saying the same thing, Mark. What I'm saying is, do we really need to have a page that shows the list of tickets for every individual developers in another page that is also showing the tickets for priorities? I'm not really sure we need that.
I think those are two different needs. One is One is to be a community priorities for the development team, basically controlled by leadership. Here's what we are hearing are the top priorities for development. So this is where we need to be focusing our energy and looking at every week how we're making progress on this. The other page was created, whether we need it or not is a question, but the other page was created to try to show a dashboard of here's what actually day-to-day is happening, what developers are working on, independent of what priorities there might be. Here's what people are actually working on. And it was also, I think, part of the intent Jeremy had with that page was to try to create a queue of those things. Also have a list of here are the things that are our backlog queue, so a developer that had the time could work on those. We may not need that dashboard right now, and that's fine if we say we don't need that, or we can just not pay attention to it right now. But I think that what we're talking about primarily is updating the development priorities page to reflect what Boniface sent out so that we don't have an email with an Excel spreadsheet going around and an outdated list on the wiki that are competing with each other.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so, okay, so who is supposed to be updating this page? Is it Bonnie?
All the info, if I have all the information from you guys, and my suggestion was that if we could have a few minutes during this call just to discuss the tickets actively involved, and we know what the status is. I mean, that information can be output as fast as possible within the call, and then we move to other things and discuss those during the call. But I think the idea of having the wiki automatically populate what tickets you guys are actively working on, despite the fact that at times the management will say now you need to shift your efforts to this and move to this, would work. Because ultimately, if that page is able to, if that wiki page can be updated frequently, I mean, if you shift your efforts, that page should show what you're actively involved in, meaning that the priority would have shifted. So either way, that page should be.
To be clear, what people are working on and what the priorities are not always the same thing. Because the priority may be we need to get a dashboard, like Jonathan's dashboard, or we need to get the oncology module working. Those may be the priorities, but if AMRS is and nobody can get their work done, somebody may say, hey, developers, right at the moment, we need you to work on fixing this module. So the priorities are communicated. I think we expect those to be communicated through Martin, and we need to be regularly kind of making sure we're communicating with Martin to ensure that what we believe the priorities are match what he believes they are. And the idea of a development priorities wiki page was to represent that, communicate that, so that everyone could see here's where we need to be focusing our efforts. That's independent of day-to-day what tickets a developer obviously should guide what tickets the developer is going to work on, but it will inform that list of priorities.
Yeah, thanks, Bob, for clarifying that. I think I agree with what you guys are saying.
Yeah, I think it's also important to include what the developer I think it's also important to include the items that the developer teams are working on outside of the priority list. This would help to justify why sometimes it needs more time to finish the priority, so that the leadership would not have like unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, but I think we can start with trying to communicate it in one place.
Yeah, so I think right now the
The
question.
information about what people are working on should be in JIRA, and if we need a way to kind of summarize that, as Jeremy was trying to do in the wiki by listing off the, all the different, developers and having a table that was automatically populated from JIRA. The point of that was to try to create a dashboard that was easier for someone who didn't. But
I hope that the developer team would update the Jira tickets as they work on them, because sometimes it's they might be busy doing the coding. They forgot to update the tickets, and it gives the false impression that actually there's no movement on those tickets, and it's unsure for other people outside of the developer teams to know what actually happened.
Okay, thank you. I think that's good, and we would. I don't know now whether Willa would want to tell us maybe briefly what you are doing and what I'm doing, so that we know whether what we are doing is part of the priorities, or what do you think, Willa?
Say that again, Alpha. Sorry.
One of the things that was also in addition to whatever we had was to actually, again, during this call, we share what Alfayo is working on and what you are working on. Basically, from our discussion with Martin, is actually me and you are the developers. So the original idea of Regan having like a team of pharmacy guy, the CDM guy coming in is no longer there. So ideally, they will not be attending this call mostly. And so I think I and you will be the developers as we are. It will be good for us to probably, you say what you are doing, I say what I'm doing, so that only if there's anything you want to ask, you would ask.
Yeah, that's good. So are we still on the same agenda or the next agenda? Or is this a different one?
I think this is.
I think the last agenda is the to-do header shared. We'll cover that because Alfayo and Willa will let the team know which wiki page to use for dev team update. That will suffice because we're going to consolidate that. But this other item that Alfayo is mentioning is in addition to
that. Or if you think that once we create that, then we will not need these updates, then that's fine. We just move on to the last item on the agenda.
I'm not sure I'm following, guys.
Okay, basically, in addition to the priorities that we have shared how we will represent our priorities. We have shared how we will ensure that the tickets that each is working on are captured. So I think one of the things, in addition, one other thing that we were to talk about was like, what are you currently working on during the call? But I believe that also will be captured through the tickets. So maybe we can leave this part of what we are currently working on alone again, because it will be in the wiki, it will be in the tickets.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you've been following these calls since we began, the thing is, in most cases, if you are facing some technical challenges, these are the things that happen naturally. If you have issues you are facing, I'm sure it'll be, when you have this call, we'll be discussing those issues. And for the updating about what we are doing, I think it's a good idea. But usually, if you're using the Jira effectively, we can easily be knowing what is going on, because if you do something, then you update the tickets, and this is very important. We need to be. I think I've been reminding the team all the time that we need to be updating the tickets. Then it's easy to know what is going on the particular ticket and what are the problems, and then when you get to the call, then we can discuss actually, why are we facing certain issues and how to resolve them. And we've been doing this actually. Buck has been helping a lot. Thanks, Buck. So if we use the Jira effectively, we'll be having the general idea of the status of what we are working on, and when we get to the call, it's easy to discuss the things, the solutions, and how to fix those problems or the challenges we are facing in our day-to-day work. So yeah, that's why for today, I know we're working on one of the things that is an issue currently. We have so many issues, but one of them is the HL7 processing. That's why I put that agenda there. I'm the one who put that agenda there because I need to know. I think it's good if we discuss what we've been up to, and especially you, Alpha, I think you're working on this. What we've been up to, what are the challenges, and how we're going to resolve this issue, especially as soon as possible. I want us to be done with this as soon as possible since it has been taking so long so far.
Okay, Will, I think what I was working on was to get EID and PCS data into processed. So far, I did the changes and we had the module tested in both my local machine and on the test server. It worked fine. So what towards the end of the day yesterday, when we were about to upload it to production, basically we are doing like a bit of configuration. So I think when we had like 3 or 6 messages for testing before we could have the module installed there. So when we did that, I think when you open a message and when you view a message, then it normally creates an extra message. It normally creates an extra file in that drop in the directory where we move the messages from. So when that happened, the messages went to the error queue of the HL7 in production. Those were a few, but when we cleared them, what happened was basically HL7 processing stopped. And then to resolve that, we just restarted the services and it worked. So Augustine was to fully test probably try to put the module into production and see whether there is any problem. But from my end, I believe the module should be working fine. And we are just waiting on Augustine to do that. And then maybe some general observation that I've seen in HL7 processing that maybe in the future when we should probably look deeper into HL7 processing issues, because at times generally just you realize that maybe the messages are not processing. So what the system admins try to normally do at this point is to try and put some messages on hold, then they start processing, then they resubmit those messages back on. So it works. So I think that's something that we need, probably when it happens, we need to do some investigation, because we do not know what at some point causes that to happen. But so far, we should be able to process the PCS, EID, and other data into production once Augustine moves that module to production.
So which ticket is that, and has it been updated with the status?
Yeah, back the ticket is the last ticket that concerns moving the module to production is ticket number PCS mod 26. I created, today, when I realized Augustine is not doing the module, I just created a subtask there to allow him to do that.
Okay.
Willa, do you have any other questions?
Yeah. I'm looking at the ticket. It says testing PCS module fixes. Create description. Yeah. Alfayo, I think, yeah, it's good to have this ticket, but I think we needed to, especially with tickets, the way we are creating tickets should reflect the type of problem we're trying to solve, because here you are saying testing PCS module fixes. This doesn't really say much about what the problem you're trying to solve on this particular ticket. So I think we need to work on that, so that when we create a ticket, actually the ticket should tell us what is the problem, what we're trying to fix.
There were basically what Martin told me was to every task that I carry out, because ideally I would not create that ticket because I have a ticket. There are tickets that shows the problem that was fixed. So because that task was taking my time, that's why I created that ticket. Otherwise, I would not create it, because it would be like testing will be part of the fix that you'll have done in the other tickets. Like if you look at the tickets that are related to that is PCS mod 21, PCS mod 22, PCS mod 23. So once the three are fixed, then because after I fixed those, I tested in my local machine and it was working. But because the system admins could not test without my help, then I had to create another ticket. Now this was specifically doing the test in the test server, helping them to set it up and actually ensuring that after whatever we are processing is getting through, we check through their flow sheet, we check through their observations and other things. So that was a task that probably I would not be involved in. It will be the work to be done by the system admins.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, well, it's difficult to decide. Sometimes maybe it's difficult to decide whether you should create a ticket or you should put it as a comment. But for something like this, if you have noticed, whenever we're working on something on a ticket, what I do and what I think should be done is, because this is related to a particular ticket, fixing a particular bug, and you already have a ticket for that. I mean, if that's what you said it is related to PCS mod 21 and 22 and others, then what I would have done for this particular ticket is going to the ticket PCS mod 21 and then updating that, saying that, okay, this has been done to fix this error, and now the work is on testing this module on either on production or test server. So this is what has been done. So this is more like a comment on that particular issue you're trying to fix than a new ticket. Because now if I come here and saying testing PCS module fixes, I mean, what does this tell you, Alpha? Like testing PCS module fixes, what fixes?
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Okay, maybe going forward we just search. We will not put them. Probably we just move them back to the original ticket as subtasks.
Yeah, either as a subtask, or you can just describe what you've been doing to fix that error as a comment. So it's easier that way, and that way you'll be centralizing what the kind of things you've been doing on a particular issue. But this way you'll be, I mean, you've been doing a lot of stuff on a particular issue, but now it will be very difficult to know, okay, what has been done to resolve that particular problem you've been trying to resolve.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Alfaro, this ticket it seems that everything is it is resolved. So does this mean that we can process all HL7 messages right now? We don't have any problem? Hello?
Hello. Yeah, we don't have. Basically, we should be able to process once the module is uploaded. We should process the EID and PCS, and then the next item on the HL7. You remember we had some messages that were on the queue that we wanted to investigate, to find out, maybe write a script to reprocess them, and probably investigate why they went on the error queue with the null concept error that was there, because we had a significant number of them. So that should be the next item on the HL7 that will be handling.
Oh, okay. Do you have what is the ticket number for that?
Let me check. Should be there. That is ticket number 278, MRS 278.
Okay. Something else. When you this module fixes you've done on the PCS and the EID, did you? Because it's a good practice if we do some changes, we advance at least the minor version number so that we know, okay, we've moved into a new module other than keeping it at the same. I don't know which module, which version was there currently, but it's good if you have changed something, especially if it is minor fixes, and then you advance the minor version of the module so that we know we are now dealing with a different module. Because as it stands, if it is the same version, then there's no way you can tell whether you're running the same code or a different code. Did you happen to do that?
No, I didn't update that, so I will just update that version number before we move it to production.
Yeah, okay. And update the GitHub as well. The code should be in the GitHub.
Yes, I will do that.
Yeah, thanks.
Any other business? I think we are done with the agenda items. Maybe one I'll raise is Willa. I think we didn't. One of the other things okay, there are two things that we need to work on that is not amongst our priorities. One is the patient matching module. I was actually working on that today because it's the reporting team is asking for it every minute, and now, so once I finished the PCS, I just started working on the patient matching, but we had not discussed this. And then another item is yesterday it was reported that the reports are running forever. I've created a ticket for that. So we need to look into those. I understand the USID team will be here from the 9th. So we have to get the two items fixed, the patient matching and the MRS reports modules. So I don't know whether it's okay for me to work on those, or what would be your comments on that?
AMRS reports. What is up with AMRS reports?
The reports that were scheduled in the reporting server and running, they are running forever. They are not ending. So we need to look at that.
Okay, that is the priority. And regarding the patient module, when Anton was leaving, I remember him mentioning that he's working on some issues regarding that module. I'm not really sure what is the issue with that module.
Yeah, today I looked at the module and I've given a couple of comments on the ticket. If you look at ticket number, I've created I have given the comment there. That is patient matching module is ticket number. Exception saving. That is MRS 277.
Okay. You haven't. I think you haven't yet given me the ticket number for the HL7 errors.
I thought it was, I think, the HL7 errors, the ticket number was 278. MRS 278.
AMRS?
278 for HL7.
Yeah, is it AMRS?
AMRS, yes. AMRS 278.
Okay.
And the other one for patient matching is AMRS 277.
All right. Yeah, so both of these things are required by the reporting team.
Yes.
Reports are running forever. That should be, yeah, I think we should be working on that because that seems like a bug. And we had that bug before. And then we can move on to patient matching module. Okay, so you wanna start on you can start looking into this, the reporting running forever.
Okay, thank you. I'll look at that. I think that's from my end. I don't know whether you have any additions before we. I think we have run out of our time. We have 4 minutes past the allocated time. Seems I think that marks the end of our call. I can't hear anything. We will meet again next week, and those who will be on the technical call will meet tomorrow. Thanks everyone for attending the meeting. See you later.
Thanks.